We work so you can play.
Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report! Tomb Kings versus Orcs and Goblins! Matt versus Arthur!
Matthew here from Mini Wargaming, bringing you another battle report. This time it is a Warhammer Fantasy battle report. It'll be my Tomb Kings versus Arthur's Orcs and Goblins. So, two horde armies facing off against each other, although the Orcs and Goblins are definitely more hordish than the Tomb Kings. So let's take a look at the two armies that'll be facing off, and then we'll jump right into the deployment. Over on this side of the table we have Arthur's Orc and Goblin army. So we're going to take a closer look at what he's decided to bring for his 2,000 points. Right here we have a group of boys with full command, and there is a Lord level shaman standing amongst them as well. Right beside it we have a chariot being run by a bunch of little goblins. And over here we have another group of boys being led by an orc war boss, also with full command. Then we have two trolls, so we can expect some stupidity happening in this game. And right here we have the night goblins with full command and also a night goblin shaman. Right up behind it, it's a pump wagon, and behind that we have another chariot being obviously driven by orcs and not goblins. Over here we have a nice big giant to try to fall on things and do some damage. That's spider riders. There's no command in these guys, so they're just bare 10 spider riders. And we've got two spear chuckas. So, all in all, we have a lot of troops, a couple chariots, a couple trolls, a bone giant, two spear chuckas, and we have, it looks like, 3 character choices in total. The war boss, the shaman, and the shaman. So let's go take a look at the Tomb Kings army. On this side of the table, we have my Tomb Kings. There's 2,000 points again, and almost all of it is painted except for the Casket of Souls, the big gray thing in the middle there. So let's take a look at what I brought. First off, we have 3 groups of Tomb King skeletons. This first group is 16, armed with only bows and no command. These other 2 groups, I'm actually proxying. They look like they have hand weapons and shields, but they're actually going to be spears and shields. And there are full command on each of them. And then over here we have a group of 5 chariots. Unfortunately, a couple of them are a little broken. I got to repair them. And there's a full command on these 5 chariots as well. And there's also a magic banner, which allows them to heal themselves every magic phase. We have, of course, the catapult with the Skulls of the Foe upgrade, which makes it harder for them to pass their leadership test. We have 3 Lich Priests. They're all just regular Lich Priests. This one is the Hierophant. He's standing in. He's actually got a Cloak of the Dunes, which allows him to fly, so he's not on a steed. But I just chose one with the steed to kind of differentiate. This is just a regular Lich Priest with no upgrades. And then this one obviously has the Casket of Souls. And then over here we have a Tomb King Scorpion, ready to pop out of the ground to hopefully stop some charges or do some flanking. And the army is led by a mighty Tomb King on a chariot of fire, armed with magic armor and a magic weapon. It's the spear that allows him to rejuvenate wounds, and the armor allows him to lower how much damage he takes from combat resolution. So that is our full 2,000 points. It is somewhat troop, somewhat character heavy, and so we'll see how we fare against the hordes of orcs and goblins. Deployment is finished. We are doing a pitched battle scenario, so it's basically go at each other, kill each other, and whoever gets the most victory points wins by capturing standards, destroying units, and everything else. So we both have 12-inch deployment lines, so you can see that we both set up in a pretty standard formation. Got my chariots and skeletons ready to go with the archers on the side as support, and in the back we've got the catapult and the Casket of Souls with the Lich Priest. Decided not to have the Scorpion come from below because that just never seems to work out for me. It always scatters the wrong direction or takes too long to come. Over here we have all of his units. You can see his boys and spiders and night goblins kind of interspersed amongst the giants, the trolls, and the chariots, with his spear chuckas, 1 on each side. So they're able to lend support with their 4-foot range. So now, because I finished deploying first, because clearly I have less units, I get a +1 to my die roll to see who goes first. So we're going to do that right now. So I'm going to roll my die. So I have a 6. Wow, good roll. And he rolls a 4. So I get first turn in pitched battle. So good luck. End of Tomb Kings, turn 1. Not much has happened. The entire army moved forward. and then they tried to cast spells. The Tomb King he basically successfully cast the incantation of Righteous Smiting on his own group, so they shot their bows an extra time, and that only managed to kill one orc. And then these 3 Lich Priests all tried in successive order to get the Screaming Skull Catapult to have an extra shooting phase, but unfortunately all that was dispelled. What I didn't realize is that I'm going to have a hard time with magic against this army, because not only does he have a wizard level 4, which is going to make dispelling it easier for him, but because of his special magic banner, he gets an extra dispel die for every rank in this group, up to a maximum of 3. So he's always going to be getting 3 extra dispel dice, which is going to make my spell casting very, very difficult. But the good news is, he did end up using all his dice before the Casket of Souls was able to go, so he had to use his one and only spell scroll. So hopefully that means that I'll get lucky in a few further magic phases and be able to get off some extra shooting, and maybe even the Casket of Souls. So other than that, the only casualties throughout the shooting phase was another orc. Catapult missed, and most of the archers didn't do anything. So the orcs have lost 2 boys and 1 dispel scroll. And so now it is Orcs and Goblins, turn 1. Orcs and Goblins have just finished their turn 1, which is a little bit more eventful than the Tomb King's turn 1. First off, they all moved up, as you can see, and the giant is kind of doing a bit of charge blocking here, so if I want to charge him with my chariots, I have to get through him first, which is not a really comfortable situation. The spiders and the pump wagon, is that what it's called, is on the flanks over here, getting ready to charge in, with the scorpion nearby. Then during the magic phase, he managed to cast, let's see, there was the magic missile that didn't do any damage, and then there was the headbutt on the king, which didn't do any damage. But then he did the Fist of Gork and managed to kill 9 skeletons, which kind of sucks. And so that was the full magic, and I saved all my dispel dice to stop that and could not roll high enough. And then in the shooting phase, the Night Goblins managed to do 2 wounds on the chariots, because somehow they rolled well and I didn't. So one of the chariots is down to 1 wound. And then that is pretty much all that happened, because the spear chuckas completely failed by rolling 1s every time they tried to shoot. So the only casualties so far, 9 skeleton warriors and 2 wounds off of a chariot, which is pretty severe for turn 1 when we're not even in close combat yet. So now it is Tomb King's turn 2. Tomb Kings just finished turn 2, and they're having a tough time, although they did get a couple little victories. They've moved up. I declared charges with these guys because they are in charge range, and because they only move 4 inches anyway, so if they fail their charge, then hopefully I'd roll a 5 or a 6 as the top die. But this one only moved 4 inches, and this one moved 2. Scorpion moved over to kind of hide behind there and stop charging from this side. Chariots are holding their ground right now. Not sure what they're going to be doing, but hopefully an opportunity will open up, and the archers move forward. The magic phase, once again, it's tough to get magic off. I did manage to get an extra shot with the Screaming Skull Catapult, which did manage to kill 10 of the Night Goblins, but they did not run away, which is unfortunate. And the Casket of Souls was dispelled. It's quite difficult when your opponent gets +5 to his dispel rolls, 4 of them from his wizard and 1 from the magic standard that he has. So it has been very difficult for the Tomb Kings to get any magic off, which is really going to make this a tough game for them, especially since I've only been able to do minor casualties. I managed to kill 2 more Night Goblins with all the shooting from every archer and chariot after that. And of course there is no close combat yet, although there probably will be in Orcs and Goblins turn 2. So the Orcs are not quite finished turn 2. This is turn 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and they're just walking through the skeletons. This is pretty bad. I'm not doing a recap completely for this turn yet because there's something important that's happening, but you can see that there's no longer a group of skeletons here. They've just been walked through, and there's been charges everywhere and wogs and everything that's just not working out so happy for the for the Tomb Kings. So we just finished turn 2, as you saw already from the fight between the Tomb King and the War Boss. Tomb King managed to wound him once, and the War Boss wounded the Tomb King twice, but then the 1 wound from killing or for hurting the War Boss was regenerated back to the king, so he was back up to 3 wounds, but we only managed to kill 2 orcs, and they managed to kill 4 wounds of chariots, so that was 7 extra combat resolutions. So we lost another chariot, and I took the other wound. I can take up to half of the wounds under the king, and then he has his special armor, which actually reduces how many wounds he takes from combat resolution to just 1. So I was able to eat up a lot of the combat resolution to him, so it's kind of tar pitting these guys in for maybe 1 more turn. But as you can see, I'm greatly outnumbered, and obviously it's going to be an Orcs and Goblins victory. Hate to be anticlimactic here, but we're entering the third turn now on Tomb King's side. Let's see what damage I can do before I finally go down. Because hey, I'm skeletons, that means I will eventually come back.